The G7 countries are making a big step ahead in countering China, but they are still divided on certain issues. NTD's Juliet Song has the details.
When some of the world's most powerful leaders came together to talk about China last Saturday, they first took a major precaution, cutting off the internet. That way, no one could tap what they had to say about China. This group of leaders come together every year to talk about some of the world's most pressing issues. The club is known as the Group of Seven, or G7. Its members lead some of the richest economies in the world: the US, UK, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, and Japan. Altogether, they make up about half of the world's economy. This year's host, the UK, also invited the European Union, India, Australia, South Korea, and Africa. Right now, China is one of the most pressing challenges on the agenda.
How's that? Okay, you're right. Can you hear me, everybody?
After 3 days of discussion, the G7 did something unprecedented and broke their silence on Taiwan. In a joint statement, the group wrote, "We underscore the importance of peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait and encourage the peaceful resolution of cross-strait issues." A move like this is unusual. That's because until now, the G7 has never openly mentioned the Taiwan issue. For these countries, their approaches to Taiwan have always stuck to a fine line, as any interaction with Taiwan risks upsetting Beijing. And many G7 economies strongly rely on China. Beijing claims Taiwan is part of mainland China and has been threatening to take control of it by force. And for other countries, concerns of a possible Chinese invasion into Taiwan are rising. That's as Beijing has been frequently sending fighter jets to invade the island's airspace. The G7 also says it's seriously concerned about the situation in the East and South China Sea. That's as Beijing has been occupying disputed territories in the South China Sea and sending its own ships across water contested with Japan. Aside from the Taiwan issue, the G7 also called out Beijing for other issues. Topics range from investigating the origin of the CCP virus to human rights abuses in Hong Kong and Xinjiang, and in particular, a plan to counter China's Belt and Road Initiative. Beijing bills the multi-trillion-dollar project as an investment plan. Under the project, China pours funding into critical infrastructure around the world, including ports, highways, and railroads. But critics say Beijing uses it to gain influence over these countries, leaving the relatively poor nations in debt and taking control of the newly funded infrastructure. And above all, using it as an influence circle to counter the West. The White House says the U.S. aims to provide an alternative, which could provide hundreds of billions of dollars in loans to developing nations. But even though the G7 has made some progress in terms of countering Beijing, member states are still divided on their China approach. The US, the UK, and Canada are taking a harder line against the Chinese regime, while the EU, Germany, and Italy are more reluctant to risk their trade deals with China. 1 in 3 German-made cars are sold to China. So it remains to be seen whether the G7 group will unify in its China approach down the road. Juliet Song, NTD News.